Let's do it.
And we are back.
We're back.
I'm also wearing a Nathan's drywall hat. I didn't
I
know.
like those. Yeah, I like his branding. That's pretty cool.
You know what? I didn't know what it was going to be. And like Nathan's drywall. The thing that this doesn't have is his slogan is something like the quality your home deserves or something like that. And I
Hmm.
really liked that. And then when he showed me this, he's got his stickers are huge, by the way.
Cool.
They're like a softball, and it's him. I'm like, fucking right, it is. He's the brand, right?
That's good, dude.
He's the guy you want at your house, right? Same with Cam. Cam is his logo,
Dude,
and
Cam's branding is awesome.
it's dope. It's fucking awesome. And it never would have occurred to me to put him as the thing. I thought we were gonna have a mustache for sure. Um, and then that's it.
I
Speaking
love
of,
the I love the Alibaba cam that came out on the cup.
so
The rich version.
I kept that cup.
Oh, cool.
And it's like it goes like from dark to gray to light to the real one,
Yeah.
so mine as well. The first laser made my logo too low, so Aaron was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna do another one." So I look at Cam, I'm like, "I'll trade you fuck ups." So
That's great.
he's got my Brawley's dad cup that was wrong, and then I've got a taper head of his here too that I'm gonna put in like a pot. Yeah, here it is there. So
Oh, the
I'm
cover for the tube.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
gonna put that in epoxy, and
Yeah, that'd be
it's gonna
awesome.
look like a trading card on my desk.
Make some coasters out of it.
Fuck yeah, man.
Some cam coasters.
um, so another thing, Jason Nathan's drywall's doing. He's got that long hair,
Yep.
so he doesn't want that long hair, right? Have you been following along with this?
Oh
So
yeah. Well, you
yeah,
can't cut it now. It's too late.
well, he is right, and he's donating
No.
it. That's the whole reason.
Oh, that'd be all right.
So
That'd be all right.
that's his whole reason for having the long hair is he's going to donate it. So now he's found a place. It's like wigs for kids.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good for
and
him, dude.
we started thinking about it. And so he once he donates his hair, he's got to get 3 grand or something like that. That kind of gets the rest of the hair that's needed, and then you make a wig with it. Um, so I was like, yeah, how the fuck do we do that? We're gonna make a fucking fireman calendar.
Do it.
We are.
Speedos and everything, or what?
Oh, I'm not sure how
If it's
bad
for the
it's.
kids, you
That's
could.
what I said. I was like, I'll fucking do some silly shit for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cam's in, Nick's in. Oh, I'm gonna see how many of us we can fucking get into this.
You're on your
Um,
own.
yeah, and some people are gonna go, mm-mm, that is not for me. But I think we're gonna sell them at like $100 a pop or something,
Yeah.
right? And make 30 or whatever.
Yep.
And then just see what happens. But oh my God, when he and I joked about it, and I've mentioned it to a few people, like, you have to do this now. Like, why would you not do that?
Oh, you have to. I'm in. I'll get one.
Yeah, man, just do like a PG one.
Yeah, we'll put it up in the kitchen.
It's fucking
Uh,
that's
I'll
perfect.
write down all my stuff, all my plans on it, and look at you guys every day. I'll even buy the speedos. Are we going leopard print or what? Zebra? I
Yeah.
even go zebra. Make it
Look,
look bigger with zebra print.
yeah, I'm gonna to buy some tube socks for that.
Try like
So
some baby tube socks,
I can pretend, yeah.
like for infants.
For infants. It's got
I
a
was
little
trying to talk my daughter into doing that too. She's got really long hair, but she loves it.
yeah.
She ain't giving it up.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. I'd say
Oh,
anytime I
100%.
see that, I'm gonna jump behind it. But oh my
Well, you
God.
have to. You have to,
I
man.
don't know where this is gonna go, but that's kind of the way that I keep thinking about it. Is it's a fucking charity thing. It's let's do as
100%, dude.
silly as we can for money.
Well, could you imagine,
Mm.
dude, like how traumatic that would be, like when you were a kid and you don't have any hair and
Oh,
it's
dude,
horrible.
and looking at your kid going, listen,
Yeah,
we could
that
fix this,
too.
but we can't afford it. That
A
fucking
hundred
sucks.
percent.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people can. I'll bet you 5% of people
Yeah.
could just be like, "Oh, we're gonna go get you a real high quality wig."
Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna go spend 4 grand and you're gonna ruin it at school, and then we're gonna get you another one like that's never going to happen.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. Good for him.
Yeah, I think so. You wanted to talk process.
Yeah. So what do you guys do when you start out with Steve? Day one. You guys put on bead or
No, no.
the
So
hangers put on bead?
yeah, that's happening a lot up here, and I really like that because I put on bead. It takes a
Mm,
long time because I'm so stupid with it. Like I want it to be 1,000% with lasers and stuff. I feel like the borders do that too, but
mm,
it takes all that time out of me doing it. And when somebody else has put it up, that's the way the bead is. I'm not changing it,
yeah.
and I just have to make it work on the other end of it. I really like that.
And it depends on what kind of build you're doing too. If
Hmm.
you're going into a custom home, you're making 50, 60 cents a square foot. Yeah, you use that laser,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you make that house really nice. If you're just running track homes, like you put it up, eyeball it, match the corners.
yeah.
It just depends on the quality you're going for.
And a lot of people will stand, but I am one of these people that I'm talking about where I go, I can't walk away from something like that. It's
That's
got to
good.
be 1,000%. But when the whole fucking house is going to be that kind of quality and everybody understands that,
Yep.
you got to run through it. And they're only paying you to run through it. Like I really do understand that. I've talked to some guys that like they're talking about a third of what I quote, and they're doing 10,000 board feet a week at that. Some guys are taking on two 5,000. Yeah, so that's 10,000 a week, but that's
Yeah.
really good money running through like that. I just I don't think I would create good habits doing that every once in a while. I think I have to just stick with the way that I'm doing it. And that's kind of what kills it sometimes is because you're spending too much time on that stuff. So
100%.
yeah, having the beat up before I get there, it takes an immense amount of pressure off of me because I'm
Yep.
just now doing the best that I can. Like, because I don't reframe either, right? Because you're not paid to do that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the way that I look at it. And you can fix certain things doing your job, not trying to do the previous guy's job.
Yep.
But day one is cutouts. So you go in, cut absolutely everything out that needs to be cut out, and then hit everything with 45. So pre-fill
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, we do the
Um,
same thing.
on that first day, if you can get all your screws done, um, same thing. While you're hitting everything with 45, when you end up with like a baseball size amount of mud left, then you just hit as many screws as you can. When it starts to set up, you just dump it into a corner bead.
Yep.
And then
Yeah. Well,
that's
our day
typically the
one,
first day. Yeah.
our day one is a little bit more. We'll go through pre-fill. We don't touch screws yet, and we try to cut out pre-fill and tape in one day.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we'll come back the next day, first coat everything, and screws are always last for us because they're the easiest to catch up.
Yeah.
You know, like you can run through and do a whole house of screws, a couple hours if you have to.
Right. So are you using uh like the 3 inch for that or 2 inch for that, or is it all by hand?
We do them all by hand here,
Okay. Yeah.
just because the the carpenters here are subpar,
Yeah. Okay.
and I think you're better off just doing it by hand here. If we had good carpenters, I'd love to use a nail spotter because you couldn't beat
Mm-hmm.
that speed.
No.
Plus not having to get on stilts to do the tall ones, and it'd save a huge amount of time.
Yeah, with this work that we were like with Steve, everything is so dialed in. So the first go around with the 90 or the 45, second go around with just your hand, and then third go around we'll hit it with the 3 inch. But
Mm,
even at that point, other than ceilings, you can kind of hit everything as good if you have to come back and swipe and take the extra mud off. Like if your mud's not perfect and it's not just leaving a clean skim and you've got like shit at the bottom or shit at the top, when you
yep.
look at having to wipe that away, you might as well kind of be just doing it by hand,
I
right? Like
seen Ice
it's
Rock's video the other day where he had the nail
wham,
spotter in
wham,
one.
wham, wham, wham. Yeah, he's a fucking crazy man. He's so crazy.
It's like he worked at a Chinese restaurant chopping up food or something.
Yeah. I was just like, oh man. But I mean, if you threw on some stilts, you could fucking do that the whole house if you
100%.
wanted. Yeah.
100%. And you know what's cool about what he does is he just tries new things,
Hmm.
you know, and that's what keeps what passion is left of the trade, you know,
Yeah.
is the guy's been doing it for so long that he's probably just sick of doing it the same way, and I'm going to try a better way and see what happens, you
He's
know?
fucking sick of seeing it done the same way too. And
Yeah, 100%.
I get these messages like,
I
oh,
get it.
look, another. And
I get it.
you're like, I get it. I get it.
And
So,
I'll bet he's got 10 to 20 years on me, you know, like he's been around for a while.
I think it was Nick's podcast. You were saying when you get talking to other inventors, they're fascinating people. That's what his brain is. He just fell into drywall because he could have done anything and he would
Oh
be
yeah.
doing the same
Yeah.
shit where it's like, let me just make this way more efficient. And what are we missing here? And do
100%.
you know what I mean? And I really like that he landed on drywall though, because it's like
Yeah.
I get to do that. Like, what's the rest of everybody doing? And then you'll talk to him, and it's like, okay, what are you doing?
And it's cool that he has a company like Advance that'll support him too,
Yeah,
you know, and help him out and listens to what he says.
yeah. It's we've had almost endless conversations of like his inventions are coming out, or like his tweaks to things are coming out at such a high number that he would have to have like four companies working on stuff for him all the time
Yeah.
to just even keep up with him. But the implications of that, you just can't do that. You can't have competitors of everyone with the same guy saying the same things to, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in his brain, it all makes sense because he's like, yeah, I'll just like sever that this is what we talk about and this is what we talk about and this is what we
It
talk
makes
about.
sense to
but
me.
but a business person's like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of those are ideas are ours and we'll get to them.
Because it's all competition, you
That's just,
know,
yeah, yeah. What
and
which is
there is
go
fierce competition in the tool game.
I feel
Like
like if you're not coming out with a patent right out of the gate, somebody's going to have your tool next week. Like
100%. And
it
what, you know, we talked about this with Wolfgang the other day when I had a talk with him. And, you know, there's some companies over in France and stuff that are knocking off some of his.
yeah,
And, you know, they just straight ordered his tools, sent them to China, and then they sent them back.
yeah.
You know, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's in France and you're not patented in France.
Yeah,
But
and so I kind of wanted to talk to you about that too. We'll get to that next
yeah,
one. I'll write that down.
yeah,
Okay, so process after first day, what's going on? So you've got everything taped.
yep. You got
You've got,
everything taped. We'll go through and, you know, we use a 7-inch box when we first coat. You know, we'll do our butt joints 2 wide. Some people do 3 wide, or and
mhm,
we've been using the fiber fuse, so that helps. You know, we don't even have to touch up, you know, butt joints and stuff on first coat. So
right.
then second coat will come through, run it down the middle, all the butt joints first, and then we'll run the recesses. So then that saves us from having to touch up the butt joints the second time. So we've been cutting out a lot of handwork and a lot of time with what we've been changed with the fiber fuse and stuff like that.
I really like using five fuse. When I do
Yeah,
stuff on my own, that's what all my flats and butts are. And
yeah,
I feel like it just hugs the wall better out of the auto taper. Like
100%.
I love it as a
It's
product.
a it's a better product besides the itch. It makes me itch.
Mm,
My partner doesn't bother him at all. He could rub it on his face here and it don't bother him, but
my
I like it.
neck,
I like
my
it.
my neck is like fucking red because I go like this, right? In
Yeah.
between working. I don't notice that I'm doing it. But then I'll get home to get in the shower. I'll be covered in mud except like this like fucking neck and face that I've been like digging at. Um yeah, it's the problem with the five fuse is breathing it in. So
Yeah.
you've got to wear a mask when you're running the auto taper with it. Um I've done that a couple of times, and then I'm just like, I feel like I'm short of breath. I don't understand what I'm doing, but that's exactly what it is. There's all little fibers of shit everywhere.
I wanted to see if I had my mask around here somewhere. We got this new dust mask. I forget what brand it is, but man, it keeps your face cool. It's the one with the little cartridges in it,
Yeah,
rubber one.
yeah,
What is it? CS2 or something?
okay.
I forget what it was, but it's a great one. They're a little expensive, but
I I only use a respirator. I hate feeling like I'm being suffocated trying to breathe.
yeah,
The
yeah,
respirators with the cartridges make a ton of
yeah.
sense. Um,
Well, this one has the little flush mounted. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, right here. It's the GVS Eclipse, right in the middle there.
oh, cool.
Best one you ever used, right there, dude.
So that covers your eyes and
No, 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 no. Just it's literally just here,
oh,
and
okay, okay, okay.
it has a good release and big filters that keeps your face cool, and it's by far the best one.
Well, and the filters aren't out here.
Yep, yeah,
They're
it's
like,
all right here. It's no bigger than
yeah,
an N95.
nice.
It's well worth. It's like $35. The cartridges are a little expensive,
Yeah,
but for comfort, like
you
it's the
can't
best.
beat it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't beat comfort, man. It's
yeah.
um yeah, I when I went from using just the throwaway mask to a respirator, that made a lot of sense. Now, if this is more comfortable, it's you'll have to send me that. And I'll
I will.
pick
I
one up.
will.
I'll pick one up for this next site.
I would
Um,
be surprised if they didn't have them at CSR.
I imagine, yeah, I'll pick them fucking
Ooh,
tomorrow.
it's more expensive now. That fucker's $54 now.
Ooh, is that American?
Yeah, it could be 70.
That's $1,000 here. Yeah.
You ain't
uh,
wrong. You
we're
ain't
at
wrong.
the casino out when we were with Aaron and Cam got up from the table and he was like, I'm gonna go find a blackjack table. I'll be back. And we're like, fuck, let's finish up our hands so we can go see what he's doing. And he just comes walking back. He's like, I thought I was gonna do okay, and I got nothing. So I was like, that's okay. It's only $40 American.
You have that Clark Griswold walk after breakfast, huh?
um, I did all right. I never gamble.
I don't either.
Yeah, I sat down with I think $100. And I finished up with 260 or something. Like and I'm like, that's the universe telling me this is your one,
Yeah.
you had fun or whatever. I tend not to.
I gambled one time. I sat down and got $100 in chips at blackjack and got my chips. It went around, I hit on a hard 17 one time, and the guy's looking at me like, "You're gonna hit on a hard 17, dude." I said, "Yeah, do it." Really didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
Dude, up $170. Went around three more times, dude. I'm down to like $30. I was like,
Oh
"Yeah, I'm
no.
done." This is in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's too fast in the casino for me.
Uh, Aaron told us this story. His brother was doing blackjack and he was just standing there talking to him. And some dickhead at the table was like, "Are you going to sit down or just fucking stand there?" So he sat down and then won like 5 grand or something. Like it was just the way that I don't even know if it was blackjack.
Good for him.
Sorry, Aaron, I'm butchering the story, man. But that's the kind of thing that I would do that once, and then forevermore I would sit down losing money
Yeah,
at tables. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
100%.
I don't want nothing to do with it.
I
Um,
know when to quit when I'm ahead. If that happened, I'd just call it for life.
I
And
I get nothing from gambling. I just sit
no,
there
it's
and
not
I
for me.
see the numbers go up and down, right? And if it's
Yeah,
if it's up, I'm like, that's cool. But if it's like down I'm like, well, that was
yeah.
stupid.
There
Um,
was one other time I gambled. Me and my dad were driving through Reno when I was like 12, and they had a nickel machine in a gas station. And I put a nickel in this thing, dude, and I won like $15 in nickels. Have you ever seen $15 in nickels come out of
bet
a
it,
machine?
I bet it's a Mr. Scrooge bag. Yeah.
So I had this big plastic cup for the rest of the trip full of nickels. Luckily, my dad got over there in time and collected my nickels for me.
That's amazing.
That was fun.
Oh, okay, day three. What happens on day three?
You guys running a Mark V at all?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What we
Oh,
do,
we don't,
we
but yes.
we do mostly level 5 here. So we'll go
Okay.
through after our second coat, and I turn the pressure up all the way on the Mark V, really thin mud, and we do a really fine mist over all the walls, and it gives you a nice profile for when you spray your level 5. You can spray it right on, and then there's no concentrating on wiping or anything. All you can do is just pull as fast as you can pull, and
Yeah.
it leaves a nice, thick, perfect layer on there. And that's the best way we found to do level 5.
So that first spray, you're not knocking it down. You're leaving it as
Nope.
like a base.
Yeah, a really thin mist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we can send you some videos too. I got some on my phone. I'll send you over to check out. And
Yeah, that'd be dope.
and
Um,
we lightly sand in between, like just enough, just the weight of your sanding pole,
yeah,
fast as you can do it.
yeah.
And then we'll spray right over that.
Yeah, because that'd just make it somewhat uniform, like enough where
100%.
there's no high
Yeah.
spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you get no tiger stripes with your level 5. It's solid white.
Hmm. Yeah. When we did that big ceiling, I sprayed. Steve came, knocked down, and then Bill came and skimmed, and
Yep.
it was so fast. It was really
Yep.
fast. Um, but it's quite a bit of work, man.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely not like I was seeing, people spray and then just wipe it down with a big tomahawk. It
Yep.
was like it was quite in
Yeah.
depth.
It doesn't. People take a lot of stuff out of their videos when they're showing that.
Oh yeah.
It don't work like that. It'd be cool if it did.
I mean, I'm sure it does sometimes, but
Nah.
no, not when you're not when you're doing it every day. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're doing a lot of level 5 then.
Probably 90% level 5 is what we do.
Okay, but so you've got one coat with the boxes, or are you doing two coats with the
Two
boxes?
two coats with the boxes.
Yeah, and then
We do 7-12, and then we'll do the mist and spray.
yeah, that second coat with the 12. What are you dialed at? Like, are you leaving quite a bit?
We'll run it on 3,
Yeah,
sometimes two if we have to.
yeah.
Two or three.
My go-to is 3,
Yep.
and then you just see what it needs. If it needs a little
Yep.
bit more, sometimes
100%.
very rarely does it need less than that on a
And
second
there
coat.
is always a step of going through anything bad with the skimming blades. If there's a bad recess, we'll take it out with the skimming blades, or we'll do the
Hmm.
butt joints with the skimming blade and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So then, two coats of spray, and then you're done, pretty much, right? Like
Yep.
when are you
Yep.
pulling angles in that process?
Before second coat. So when we
Yeah.
get there, right after first coat, we'll run angles
Yep.
first thing, and we usually tape with a 2.5, and then we'll run the box with a 4. That 4, you gotta thin that mud down, or it'll
Hmm.
kill you.
No
But the
shit.
4 makes it way easier. There's never any tape. It takes a little bit more mud, a little bit more time, but way better product.
Yeah. Are you using flushers or angle heads or both or?
We use only angle heads. The
Yeah.
flushers are
Yeah.
nice though. There's nothing wrong with flushers.
I like the flushers for setting the tapes. I did that
Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah,
I like the 2.5 angle head and then the 3.5. I used to
yeah. We
do
do that too.
2.5, 3 and 3.5. Like for a really long time, I was doing 3 coats.
Yep.
Well, 2 coats and a tape coat, but
Some guys
um,
do 3 coats on their angles still, but
it's
it's just not. It's not necessary.
as I was gonna say, like it looks crispy when you're done, but it's because it's overkill, I think.
Yep. But the end product's the same.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No.
Yeah, I like the angle heads. I just feel like it's a box. I feel like it's the same every
Yep.
time. Like it's that
Yep.
like we were talking about before, right? It's everything's the same every time and consistency.
If we did smaller jobs, the semi-automatics would make more sense.
Totally.
But we're doing at the least 10,000 a week.
Yeah.
So
That's
we
huge. Yeah.
we need everything we can. We're doing 40,000 a month
Yeah.
at least. Maybe more depending on the section. So
That's wild. So are they all just like a 10,000 house, or do you get into situations where you're splitting houses with people or doubling up on
We
houses or?
we do mostly commercial.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Um,
houses here don't pay a lot.
yeah.
So, if we get a big custom or something, that's different. But houses here just aren't where it's at.
Yeah, it's same actually out here. If you go into like a subdivision, I've just heard whispers. Like I've not sat down and had conversations with people either.
Mhm.
That goes back to that sales thing. I think a lot of people go, "What do you pay here?" And they go 5 cents, and then they go, "Okay," and that's the end of the conversation. And then they
Mhm.
either take the job or they don't. I imagine that if I was a builder and I had a budget, I would be telling people that we paid dog shit unless they said that's not what we do either.
That's what they do. And then
Yeah,
here, they just move on. You find a quality contractor and you stick with them. We have
totally.
7 or 8 really good contractors that we work with, and they don't even bat an eye at any price that we ever give them. There's
Mhm.
never nothing. They know we're done when we're done, and everything will be perfect. And you don't even need to talk to me until you write a check.
There's a big part of that too, right? Where these companies that are, for instance, when I was framing, I got picked up by a company to strictly do corrections work. So
Mm-hmm.
you had
Ooh, I
frame,
did some of that. That's hard.
right? Yeah. So but I loved it and I was good at it.
Yeah,
I was bodybuilding at the time, so like moving shit around was not a problem. I had a lot of fun doing it. But I think if you're going into situations like that where they're bringing in tons of guys paying them dog shit, it's because they've also got to pay a guy to come around and do all your corrections too, right?
and
Like
they do.
so it all kind of, if you're doing 80% of a job, you should be looking for 80% of the pay or whatever, right?
And that's what people don't understand is you're paying the same money, but you're losing days
Mm-hmm.
in the end.
Yep.
So if you just do it the first time, do it right. Right when you say you're going to be done or sooner.
Yeah,
That's the key.
we that company that I was doing that work for, running their sites, I was just like, man, you have to stop bringing in the guys that fucking bring in the lowest quote, because
Yep.
they're gonna kill you with extras. They're not gonna be
Yep.
good, right? They're not gonna show up on time. They're fucking material. There's gonna be issues with, and it was like every single fucking time. It didn't matter what
Every
trade.
time. Every time.
If somebody comes in $10,000 more, it's because they missed something. It's not because
Yeah.
these guys are fucking you over. Like,
Or
no,
it's not even that they miss something. It's sometimes they do it on purpose and they
yeah,
exclude things from the bid. And then they get to a point and they're like, "Hey man, are you going to do this?" And be like, "Well, that wasn't in the bid." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, here you go. Here's the rest of the money."
yeah,
Don't think they forgot it. It's intentional.
yeah. We didn't put that in our quote. Like, oh, okay. Well, I'll find someone to do this tomorrow,
Yeah, yeah,
or
100%.
we'll pay through the fucking nose for you to do it. And it's like,
Yeah,
ta-da.
100%. That's
Uh,
what happens.
I don't see that as a way to do business, though. Like it because
No, it's horrible.
you're fucking people over. Like that is what that is. Um,
Intentionally. So you have a months long plan to fuck people over.
yeah,
So you're thinking when you put in your bid submittal, you're thinking, well, if I leave out the fire caulking, we're going to be second coated by the time they figure out that we need to do all the penetrations and stuff, and then they're going to panic, and then we're already on site. They have a plan.
yeah.
Can't tell me they don't.
It's got to figure it out. And
Yeah,
what?
100%.
Every once in a while it backfires and they bring somebody else in to do it. Like we did all of that kind of shit too.
But
Where
not that often. It doesn't backfire that often.
and because you fucking can't find people 3 days in advance, and the people you
Yep.
can, there's a reason for it.
Right. There's a
There
reason.
there's an issue, right? Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. It's I really do enjoy seeing the behind the scenes stuff from the builder side, and like the
Yeah.
being, running projects and that kind of stuff. Um, it's also kind of something you bring to the table where it's like, I know these are where all your headaches lie. That's not going to happen here,
Mm.
but my price reflects that.
Yep.
It just kind of is what it is.
And some people
Um,
get it, some don't. A lot of builders will just take that risk.
totally.
And, because maybe 60, 70% of the time you won't have any problems.
I was gonna
You
say
know?
that too. When you go after the lowest quote and everything goes fine, you've made a bunch of money,
Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
So it is kind of like a craps game where you're like,
Yeah.
are we still up over the course of the year or whatever, right?
100%. So what are you guys sanding with? Are you guys using power sanders or?
Oh yeah, yeah. With
Yeah.
plane X2 with the ring, it does like a circular motion as opposed to spinning.
The oscillating.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
fucking love it. I have like personally, I've got that DeWalt, and I've got lights that I would kind of set up, but it's not the same as having the light on the sander like that.
Yep.
And then oscillating as opposed to spinning. It's
Yeah.
absolutely night and day difference.
Yeah.
Pole sanding, and then this new corner thing that so I it was just this site that we've had it. You know what I'm talking about? It's
The Tape Pro.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It was pretty neat. Like you run into a room just like you would with a flusher, and
Yep.
you flush all the outside of everything, and then
Does it
uh,
leave a real sharp 90? Yeah.
you know, um,
Maybe a good pre-sand. It's good for a pre-sand.
I like it for the outside where it all it's
Oh,
doing
okay.
is taking this away,
The
right?
edges. Oh, okay.
So that makes it uniform, and then you're going to come through with a sponge anyways. Like
Yeah.
every single fucking inch of a site gets sponged.
Yeah.
So creating that slice, that perfect 90 with a sponge is really easy.
Yeah.
So you know but it is very fast for kind of pre-sanding your angles, I guess is what you would
Yeah.
call it. Because if you send a regular sander up there, it's this big for one. So if you might drag on the other side, like it's
It's
just not as
hard to cut the edge with the.
yeah. And it's doing everything flat. It's not
Yeah.
on an angle cutting that edge like what you're talking about. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. Um, Sanding's easy. That's always been where, because I was so poor at it, nobody taught me to do it in the beginning. My sanding is
There's an
very
art to it.
there's an art
There,
to it.
100%. Like it's
Yeah.
not just going in there and sanding shit.
My the biggest thing for me now that I've started working with other people is I understand a good amount of things. It's we're going to do everything and eliminate the most sanding possible,
Yep.
right? Where when your sanding comes along, it's not 3 fucking days of grinding. It's like going through in a day and everything is done. It might take two
Yep.
days. Um, and it's not a nightmare. There's been a
Yep.
couple of things where they've taken a look at it and they've been like, we're just gonna skim it again. We're gonna skim it again tight, and or you got to sand everything down perfect. Skim it
And
again.
sometimes, dude, if something's bad, it needs four coats. There's nothing
Absolutely.
wrong with that. Like it's
Mhm.
actually better that you understood that it needed four coats, and
Totally.
then nobody knows when you walk out. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that at all.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. It's that understanding of how much sanding are you going to do as opposed to whatever. And I think that's probably what I've learned the most so far.
Yep.
The trowel stuff for sure. Using the sprayer to do no coat, brilliant. Um, yeah, it's been good.
Yep.
I think that's good time for another break.